The National Human Trafficking Hotline by Polaris has put out a statement about the Wayfair theory, thanking the public for their concern, but also urging people to essentially stop calling in about it and focus on real cases. I'm gonna tell you why right now on IO. What's gravy fam? This is InformOverload. I'm Charlotte. Like, subscribe, follow, potato. Let's get into the news. You guys might remember the Wayfair theory from last week on the channel. Essentially, this theory went viral that alleges that the popular furniture retailer Wayfair was involved in human trafficking, and it was advertising human trafficking on their website disguised as expensive furniture items. The furniture items included cabinets priced at outrageous prices, up to $20,000 US. If you guys want more info on that, I will leave a link to my original video in the comments, but essentially, at the end of the video, I told you guys that conspiracy theories like this are actually quite detrimental to real human trafficking cases that actually need our help. According to a Facebook-owned analytics tool called CrowdTangle, the term Wayfair generated more than 4.4 million engagements on Instagram, and on Facebook, there were more than 12,000 posts about it, and almost a million engagements. Needless to say, a lot of people thought there was something seriously fishy about this theory, or maybe they couldn't understand how an ugly cabinet could cost over $20,000. Wayfair issued a statement about the viral theory and said that there was no truth to the claims, and the products in question were industrial grade cabinets that were accurately priced. They also added that they would temporarily remove the posts until more accurate photos and descriptions of the overpriced products could be added. And now Polaris, which is the National Human Trafficking Hotline, has spoken out, because apparently there are so many people calling their hotline with concerns about the Wayfair theory that it's actually making it more difficult to investigate real human trafficking cases because it's using up all their resources. Here's a statement posted to their website. Over the past several days, the National Human Trafficking Hotline has received hundreds of reports that reference a series of viral posts claiming online retailer Wayfair has been involved in a complete scheme involving trafficking of. While Polaris treats all calls to the trafficking hotline seriously, the extreme volume of these contacts has made it more difficult for the trafficking hotline to provide support and attention to others who are in need of help. The trafficking hotline connects victims and survivors of sex and labor trafficking to services and support that allow them to get help and stay safe. The trafficking hotline is not a law enforcement agency, but does collaborate with law enforcement as appropriate. Our role in situations like this is to provide information for potential investigation to other agencies as warranted. All contact with the trafficking hotline is confidential. What we can say is that none of the reports we have received involving Wayfair contained any information beyond what has been widely shared online, nor have any of these reports been made by someone who has a specific connection to any alleged missing children. We deeply appreciate those members of the public who have contacted the trafficking hotline out of heartfelt concern. In the vast majority of situations, the people in the best position to identify trafficking are victims and survivors themselves, and the people who know them. This may be friends or family members, teachers, but also maybe people who have some information but are not necessarily close to the situation. We strongly encourage everyone to learn more about what human trafficking really looks like in most situations, and how you can help fight trafficking in your own community. So I think it's great that the Wayfair theory is bringing attention to issues like human trafficking. Clearly people care enough about the subject to do something about it, but you gotta think about how this whole thing started. The theory began because someone complained about overpriced cabinets on an otherwise affordable furniture website. The people thought it was weird that the overpriced items had the same or similar names to children that had gone missing in the United States. But it's important to note that in 2019 there were over 400,000 entries for missing juveniles in the FBI's National Crime Information Center, which means it's probably a coincidence that the cabinets and the missing children had the same names. If that is not proof enough for you, most of the cases that people tried to connect to the Wayfair theory had actually already been solved. For example, according to Snopes, the Olivia shelf connected to Olivia Navarro through the theory. Well, she went missing when she was 3 in 2013, and she was found dead shortly afterward because she drowned in a nearby pond. And then of course there was Samia, who saw that picture of her being circulated as a result of the Wayfair theory, and she went on a live stream to squash the claims.
Who are you? How are you gonna post about me being missing? You don't even know me. Would this be true? Would this be something if this was true? Why are you posting people talking about they're missing if you don't even know if they're missing with a cabinet?
It is likely that although these missing children cases are still found on websites, they might not have been updated everywhere. Another piece of evidence that people were using to back up the claim was this mugshot and tweet. Noonan, Georgia, right down the road from me. A man was arrested for sex trafficking, noticed the shirt, #Wayfair. I will admit, when I saw this I was like, okay. How are they gonna explain this? But according to the police report, the mugshot is of Frederick Walker Jr., arrested on June 21st, 2020 in relation to a prostitution case in Georgia. But old Freddie here wasn't the only person arrested in this case. 24 people were arrested in connection, and none of the other people that were arrested were wearing Wayfair shirts. It also should be noted that yes, he was arrested for human trafficking, but not child trafficking. I'm not denying that there very well could be human trafficking rings right under our noses. I mean, look at Epstein, look at R. Kelly. But is it really likely that a huge website like Wayfair was using their official website to traffic children? What if someone actually bought one of those cabinets thinking that it was a cabinet and a child showed up? Wouldn't there be evidence for that? In terms of online, sex trafficking and human trafficking is probably quite common on places like the dark web, places that aren't easily accessible. But truthfully, trafficking happens a lot more often than you might think, and it might be happening right under your nose. Brothels might look like fancy private houses on the outside, but in reality they are home to human trafficking victims that are kept there by force, under lock and key, or by armed guards. Victims of human trafficking also work street corners, busy places, and oftentimes they fear their captors, or pimps. Essentially, victims of human trafficking are prostitutes that you would otherwise pay no mind to, or give them the side eye when you walk past them on the street because they're wearing a skimpy outfit and they look really drugged up. Although slavery was abolished in most places centuries ago, it might surprise you to know that there are more slaves in the world than at any other time in human history. If you're worried about this subject, don't go down a conspiracy theory rabbit hole on the internet. The next time you pass a young woman on the street in a sketchy neighborhood who looks like she's trying to pick up guys, maybe consider that she's doing that because she's the victim of human trafficking, and ask her if she needs help. That is all I have for you on this one. I'm just gonna quickly wrap this one up with some comment features from my last video about the Wayfair theory. Sage said, "This is quite weird. By quite, I mean really, really weird. But hey, 2020 is weird, so." Yeah, I'm just waiting for the next one. The news is really slow this week, guys. It means that there's something coming and I'm scared. Sugar and Spice said, "This is definitely sketchy and weird, but I can't see how and why people are reacting the way they are. In truth, I want to send my love and prayers to Avery, the trafficking survivor, who makes a very good, solid, and real point. My heart is broken for her, but hope she has been able to go on to live a reasonably normal life." Yeah, I think that survivor definitely put things into perspective for me. Yeah, and it also is upsetting that she is a real survivor, and although she doesn't agree with the theory, then conspiracy theorists would like come after her and like, I mean, if you really cared about the theory, then would you really deny someone's claims like that? Like, if you care about human trafficking, then you should care about all people who are victims of human trafficking, not just ones that feed into the theory. Anyways, guys, that is it for me. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, follow Potato. See you guys next time. Alright, you little conspiracy theorist. You little conspiracy theorist over here. Excuse me.